Hold on. Okay, now.
Hello, my name is Alex from the Advent Label Applicator Company. This is going to be a demonstration of the Advent 205 that we have here. The 205 is a plain paper labeler designed specifically to apply labels to pails, 5-gallon pails. As you can see here, generally speaking, they're plastic pails. It will also work with metal, but plastic pails with a taper on it. And because of the taper on most pails, we have a unique label feeding system that allows us to apply the label at an angle. So we'll go ahead and demonstrate that. Other features, we do have a registration switch that allows you to register the label anywhere along the circumference, which is important when you're trying to avoid a baby sticker. These labels actually happen to have them incorporated, but that would be very important. It also allows you to center up the label too between the bales. The machine has a heater on it. It melts the glue down. It takes about 90 minutes for the machine to become where it turns nice and freely, as you can see here. And I'm going to grab a sack of labels. And we've already have it set up. So we'll go ahead and run the plastic pails first, and then we'll do a changeover to the metal pails so you can see how that works. So here's our guides right here. Here's our stack of labels. I fanned them forward a little bit. And of course, you want to make sure it's oriented correctly, which is copy position number 3. As you can see here. So we have our stack of labels. And you just want to make sure it preheats a little bit, moves nice and smoothly. And as you can see here, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up putting the container and laying it down. And what happens is when we turn the registration on, it spins around and it's going to hit this wobble switch, and then based on this locking timer right here, it's going to feed a label out in a very specific location. This wobble switch is adjustable, so if you have different type of containers with different features, you can certainly adjust for that. It's also very important to note that because we're hanging the ridges outside these bearing blocks, you're always going to have about 1.5 inch margin. So it's very important that you get your label sized accordingly. If you were going to a larger label, like a 9-inch wide label, it might run too close to the bottom of the pail. So it's just something to be aware of, that margin. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the machine. And grab our pail here. Now you can orient it. Consider each pail having 2 different panels. So you can orient it off this bale or this bale. So you just want to be consistent, especially if you're putting a front-back label. So I'm just going to have the baby label facing towards me. Just grab it, lay it in, and you'll see that label goes on, just like that. See, pretty much have it dead center on the bales. And that's, of course, adjustable, too. And just to show you, so I have the original baby sticker oriented towards me. You can see it waits. And then it feeds the label on, and it's going to be usually dead on. The reason why it's a little bit off, and it will be a little bit off occasionally, but we had pre-fed that label down a little bit when I was showing you. But you can see that goes on really nice and tight. Very, very secure. This looks fantastic. And you have to be aware this is a really difficult label to put on because it's actually going past 180 degrees. And it's able to put that on nice and flat on this tapered surface. So that's really, really great. All right, so let me do the other one. So make sure you're in registration mode, which is label registration on. Let's see, just drop it in there. Looks good. Couple more here. So you want to put the bottom down first and lay the top down. Final one. like that. Looks fantastic. Now, one of the neat, great features of the Advent 200 series, or the 205 specifically, is we're putting a skip glue pattern on automatically. So you can see that label's getting wrapped around really nice and tight. We're saving all that glue. That's your leading edge, and you got your trailing edge. Nice and secure, but you're saving quite a bit of money. As far as glue usage is concerned, it automatically adjusts. And the other nice thing about doing a skip glue pattern, it's very, very important to allow a label to lay up nice and flat on a tapered surface. It's a really important feature. Doing that with like a pressure-sensitive label or a full glue pattern would be almost impossible. Okay, so let me just put that on again. And there it goes on. It's absolutely perfect. You can see it's dead on. And just to show you, if you had smaller labels and you broke it up into a front-back label, what you could do is if you orient this label opposite, so let's say it's facing up, boom, just like that, you have a back label oriented 180 degrees opposite. Just absolutely perfect. And of course you could fine tune it too, but you can see how just easy the 205 makes it to get a label on what many people consider a very difficult container. Turn this off. And just to let you know, the label placement timer, that was adjusted for 3 on this particular label. So now we're going to go to these metal containers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the labels out. By the way, I put some green tape here. It's removable. Most people use a paint marker or scribe, so you could go and switch from container to container very, very quickly. So I'm just going to leave that there. First thing I'm going to do is, you can see here we have a guide that's adjustable. On larger containers, like this, metal, we don't even need to run it. We could just go like this. And of course you could flip this over to the inside. It's just a thumb lock, as you can see here. And you could run like a straight-sided container, a pint, a quart, or a gallon. If you're doing a lot of changeover though, we do recommend that you would get both a 200 and a 205. But for the occasional changeover, a 205 can do straight-sided containers. All right, we got that in. So first thing I'm going to do is just spin it and make sure it's getting a good hit on the wobble clip. And it is, the registration switch. So that looks good. If I needed to, I could adjust it. I could almost open the carriage too, but everything looks pretty good. Yeah, we're just barely clearing this ridge, so it should be good. Next thing I'm going to do is grab my stack of labels. And we're just going to straighten these up. And we have 2 wing nuts. What we just want to do is just try to get straight to make a fine adjustment. That looks pretty good. Finger tighten these. You don't want them binding. All right. And I'm just going to leave it in position number 3 because it's the same size label. It might be fairly close. I'm putting it in registration mode. Drop it in. Okay, so it didn't feed the label, and that might be because it's not deflecting. There's 2 switches it needs to hit. This one and this middle switch, the label feed switch. So we're going to stop here and just make sure we have those adjustments done correct. Okay, so we made a couple adjustments. We forgot to put this little rubber sleeve on the trigger. That allows it to go a little bit deeper and activate the micro switch right there. And then we do have a little bit of a ridge here, and I just moved it up a little bit, the container, so it clears a little bit better. Right? So I'm in registration mode. Grab it, put it against the guide. See here, it waits. You can see right there. It's on, absolutely perfect. I mean, it looks fantastic. Nice and tight. Looks really, really good. Now, if we wanted to move it, we could just try that. I'm going to go to sensitive potentiometer, so I'm just going to put that on. We'll see where it moves. See it fed out a little bit faster. So I went from 3, which is right here, as you can see here, and I went to 2.5. And you can see it moved it about almost 2 inches. So you might just split the difference. 2.8, and that should be perfect. But once again, skip through pattern automatically, nice and tight. And we'll just finish this up. Perfect. That's dead center. Let's move these over. See? A little bit faster. See, you have to support the bail. Just like that. We did 3 containers. Absolutely perfect. Of course, they connect. Labels on nice and secure. Not going to get ripped off. Sets immediately. And they look absolutely fantastic. And that is the 205 doing these types of pails. Just to point out one thing. If you don't do label registration, turns off the swivel switch, and if you'll see right here, it will feed a label out immediately. And there's no type of registration, as you can see here. So that allows you to do straight-sided containers, or if you need to go a little bit faster, obviously it feeds a label on. So if you're using a metal can pail that doesn't need to register, you can certainly use that mode. So that is the 205. If there's any questions, we can be reached at 846-7716. Thank you very much.